Let's talk today about ways to reduce your foot pain and also strategies to strengthen it for mountain biking specifically. We're going to go over some things that you may not know about your foot in this video. First things first, let's talk feet. So one of the biggest things about feet is that we know that we have an arch. This arch that most people know about goes on the side of our foot, and it a lot of times needs a little bit of support comparatively to what our typical biking shoes use. Also, when it comes to biking shoes, we want our shoes to be nice and sturdy. The reason for this is as it sits on the pedal, we now have a main point or main area that you are going to get a lot more pressure in than the other areas. So if I have my foot midfoot on the pedal that I'm supposed to have, my heel is now off and my ball of my foot is off. And so most of the pressure is on the arch of my foot. If I don't have a stiff, sturdy shoe in this, and this, my shoe is obviously very loved here and might need to get replaced soon, then I'm going to have a lot of pressure right around here and not very much weight here and not very much weight here. If I have a stiff shoe, then now that pressure is distributed over my entire foot like it should be. Also, if I don't have a good arch support, then instead of getting that good pressure across, I'm just going to sag my arch downward. This can also play into a role if you have other knee pain on the bike, is that you may need to support your arch a little bit more. If your arch falls in, then your knee tends to rotate inward as well. And this can cause some issues of our knee joint, our hinge joint, not hinging properly. Now it's sort of kinked in and it doesn't really want to function as well that way. And so just a caveat, if you have arch issues, you may want to try an arch support. This is one that you can just peel off the backside. It's called hay pad, and these are called scaphoid pads. And this is an easy way of adding it into your shoe. You may want to trim it to make it smaller. This is a small, and it's still fairly large in my opinion. And so you may want to trim it down. You can, it's wool. And also as you're adding it to it, there's some sticky back here. This is stout, sticky. So don't undo all of it and stick it down and then want to change it. Undo a little bit of it and open up that part of that sticky. Try it in your shoe, go for a little ride. If it works, great, then you can stick it down in there. Or it may find that you want to trim it a little bit smaller. So finding that you have a good platform to be on. You're in the midfoot, which is where you want to be for your actual pedal. Your foot on the pedal may be slightly towards the ball. And if you are in cleats, you already have a stable base. It is nice, solid, a lot of shanks throughout the SPD pedals. They are really good at maintaining that support for your foot. Again, you may need a little bit of an arch support in that as well. When it comes to our other arches of our foot, yes, we have more than one. We have our main arch that you think about here, but we also have a transverse arch that we think about here. And this part matters because if we squeeze it, then now we're going to squeeze the actual parts of our foot through here. And our nerves that go through that part don't like to be smushed. And this can cause numbness and tingling in our toes. It can cause other issues in our actual foot. And so we may need what's called a metatarsal arch. This goes up the big teardrop side, goes just past here. And so it's not actually into those joints, it's just a little bit shy of it. And this now supports my transverse arch. And so it gives that nice little curvature feeling in those digits and those rays, and it allows the nerves to actually have space to be and to breathe. This, again, has sticky on the back, and again, it's going to be hard to place because we want to make sure it's not too far forward where it actually puts more pressure there. We want to make sure it's back far enough where we open up this, and we don't want to put it too far back that it messes with our longitudinal arch here. And so try this. They call them metatarsal pads, neuroma pads, and it is a great way to support that transverse arch. Now, getting into one other caveat that you may want to know about is that numbness and tingling in your feet can be a sign of back issues. And so if you're finding that none of this stuff in this video helps you, then go to a practitioner, a chiropractor, PT, and get them to look at your back to see if that plays a role into your actual foot. I've had so many people say that they've had plantar fasciitis issues, and they had some plantar fasciitis issues, but it was actually a pain referred from their back. And so I treated their back as a PT, and their heel pain got dramatically better within a week or two. And that will help so much to understand the full communication of the body and understanding that sometimes a foot issue isn't just a foot issue, it comes from up the chain. Just wanted to say that before you are dived all the way headfirst into foot issues. One of the first exercises that we're going to go over is going to be strengthening your big toe. Your big toe and being able to move that separately from your actual foot is important because it helps with spreading out those digits for the front part here of your foot, and it also helps with supporting your longitudinal arch. As we talk about your big toe strength, part of what helps it flex downwards is a muscle that also supports your longitudinal arch. And so as you flex it, then you actually increase this strength of your arch and how you can support. And so you're going to be doing a combination of alternating big toe and rest of your toes up and down and up and down. This can be super frustrating, just as a heads up, because many people that have foot issues have weak foot muscles, and this focuses on your weak foot muscles, and they also have weak motor control of your muscles, the ability to turn them on and off. And so as you're doing this, you're gaining on both of those, the ability to turn your muscles on and off, to relax your feet when you need them to, and also to turn them on when you need them to, which is important for biking because sometimes we tend to over grip our toes and our feet when we need to just let them relax and use the rest of our body for support, use our hips for support, use our balance for support, instead of just gripping those toes so much into your shoe. You need to relax them a little bit. And this will help you with gaining that motor control. Do it for 10 or so times each side as you're getting started, and then start setting timers that you can do it for like 30 seconds or anywhere even upwards of a minute of going back and forth with this. Now, we also need to work on our flexibility of that big toe. And so we need to work on our flexibility of our calf and the flexibility of our big toe. And this is where doing a calf stretch plus big toe extension is important for you to be able to tolerate different movements and to be able to not only have good mobility of your ankle, but also good mobility of your big toe. As we talk about your big toe, as you move your big toe backwards, it's what is called the windlass. As you can see, my arch gets much more defined as I bring this big toe back. And it's because the bottom part of my big toe, where I bring it back, that's attached to my plantar fascia. And so as I'm bringing that big toe back, then I support my arch. We may want to stretch that a little bit if it's gotten a little bit tight over time. And we also want to stretch in our calf as well. And so you can do this as a wall stretch where you are up against the wall. You have 1 foot back, 1 foot forward. The front foot is basically just supporting your body weight. The back foot is the one that you're stretching. You're going to want to roll up a little towel roll or a little pillowcase and stick it just underneath part of your foot, the arch of your foot, to support that. And you're going to want to support it up underneath your big toe. And so as you lean forward to stretch your calf, you are also stretching your big toe as well and making sure you have that mobility there. And you may even want to go up onto your toe after you get the big part of the stretch done for your calf to get a little bit more into your big toe stretch. Hold it 15 seconds, 20 seconds. You want a minute total stretch time on both sides, both feet. The reason why this is important is because if you don't have the mobility in your ankle that you need, then you will stress your foot, and that will put more pressure through your arch, and it can't sustain that because you're going to lose mobility and gain mobility at other places. And so if you don't have it in your ankle, you're going to get it from your foot as well. And that's going to, as I said, stress it. Last but not least is toe towel scrunches. This is really working on the ability of your foot to get stronger. As I said, as you activate your big toe, then that helps to strengthen and support your longitudinal arch. Well, as you curl the rest of them, it also helps to support the rest of your foot. And so putting the towel down on the ground, I like to use just a hand towel, and you'll put your foot on one side of it and you'll scrunch, 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 scrunch. And then you can either work on bringing your towel back out with your toes, or you can just move it back out with your hand. As you scrunch, 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 that is going to really work on the ability of your foot to withstand. Once it gets a little stronger, then you can put weight on one side of it and scrunch, scrunch, scrunch against that weight, so it has more to pull across as you're doing your scrunches. Same thing that we are doing with the big toe extensions. Maybe do like 5 to 10 rounds of it, and then work on a timer where you do it for specific times, 30 seconds to a minute, not 30 minutes. Whoa, that would be some extreme towel function. I hope that this makes more sense to you. I hope it's going to help you with decreasing your pain on the bike. Again, look into your back if you need to for other issues. Look into your shoes that you're wearing and making sure that they're nice and stiff if you're going to flats. And if you have cleats on, moving that cleat farther back. We didn't talk as much about that, but moving it farther up underneath of your actual base of support is helpful as well. And check out this other video about how to relieve back tension if you start to have that as well.